Welcome to the first episode of Always on Call, the show about caregiving by caregivers. I'm Kris McCabe. Nearly 133 million Americans live with chronic illness. And then there are the people who love them, the caregivers. I bet you know that caring for someone who once cared for you is incredibly special, and it can come with its own set of unique challenges that can sometimes be very isolating. My own caregiving journey started in 2017 when I decided to become the full-time caregiver for my grandma who's living with Alzheimer's. I didn't know much about it at the time, but as I got to know other caregivers, I started learning more and more. I really started building a community on social media, and I started creating caregiver content. People really responded to Grams and how we chose to navigate Alzheimer's together, with compassion and a little laughter. And that led me here to this show. Always on Call is a resource for caregivers by Patients Rising, the nationwide advocacy group for patients with chronic illness. Every other week, I'll share the stories of caregivers. We'll talk about what caregiving has taught them, tips they've picked up along the way, how to create the right headspace to provide the best care, and more. Caregiving can be unpredictable, especially when your loved one lives with a disease with no cure. And this show will walk you through the wonderful surprises of caregiving and how it can change lives. For our very first episode, we are speaking with Carlos Olivas III. Carlos is the primary caregiver for his dad, Carlos Olivas Jr., who is living with geriatric Alzheimer's dementia. Like his father, Carlos is charming and truly creative. He's learned to incorporate creative outlets for both himself and his father, and isn't even archiving and documenting his dad's progression through the art he creates. Carlos is a California native currently living in Sacramento. He is a community builder, a poet, and an active participant in support groups in person and virtually. Carlos, thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Let's jump right in and get into the conversation. Many times, the world of our loved ones shrinks as this illness progresses. What are some things you do to help your dad's world expand?
It's a great question. Helping him grow and expand. It's taken a lot of love, empathy, apathy, understanding of what dignity is. I would say my dad is teaching me how to care for him.
I love that. I know you've had to navigate the world of grief since losing your brother, and I'm so sorry about that. But you do an incredible way of protecting your dad's peace with that. Can you explain a little further about that journey?
That's a super difficult question to answer. Protecting my dad has been a learning experience. I'm on a learning curve right now, trying to navigate the best way I can to protect my dad. One of the things I've been utilizing is communication to provide comfort. I tell my dad, my brother is away working. He's safe, he's secure, and he's having fun. And that seems to reassure my dad that my brother is okay. And I feel my dad is very comfortable knowing everything is okay.
I love that. It's really been amazing to watch your vulnerability, and I really appreciate all that you've shared in your grief journey as well as your Alzheimer's journey. 66% of caregivers identify as female, and I really appreciate your male voice. What would you say to some other sons or males out there about your caregiving experience?
I would say step up. There's a lot of males that resort to their female counterparts or siblings to take up the role as a caregiver, and then not support their sister or their aunt or mother the way they deserve. I feel that there's a stigma towards being a male caregiver. And in my journey, we didn't have any females in our family to step up. It was all upon us, both me and my brother. and we took it on. We've had to learn how to navigate life as caring for a parent, caring for our hero. It's been super difficult. It's been testing our mental wellness, our well-being. It has evolved into a love story, loving our dad and providing the utmost care as possible.
I love that. You utilize in-person and virtual support groups. What are some of the benefits that these bring to you?
Attending support groups provides me a sense of community, understanding that there's other people that are struggling just as much as I am, who I can vent and share my anguish with. And I can also feel supportive and supported by other people that are going through something similar. It's a unique experience, and my advice would be get into a support group if you are a caregiver. Find a group that resonates with you. Find something that brings a sense of purpose, sense of support, and ultimately brings you peace.
Thank you for sharing your story, Carlos, and thank you to our new viewers for watching. We hope you enjoyed what you learned and that you'll share this with someone else who needs this content. If you're on a mobile app, you can share the show by clicking the little box with an arrow. Also, don't forget to follow this show on your favorite podcast player so you can get a notification every time we publish an episode. You can take a look at the show notes for more resources and information on today's conversation. Until next time, remember that while caregiving is common, caregivers are special.